Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction for Manchester United's game against AC Milan. And if I hear anybody say again, this is like a Champions League tie because it's AC Milan against Manchester United, it's effing well not. It's a Europa League tie. Stop trying to turn it into a Champions League tie. It's a Europa League tie because we're shit. We've got to own it. Like, if we start turning it into a Champions League tie, that's not opening your eyes to what it is. I'm very excited about it. I want us to win the Europa League, but let's not pretend that AC Milan and Manchester United belong in this trophy. We do belong in the Champions League, but we're in the Europa League because neither club is good enough. So own it, don't like it, and make sure it doesn't happen again. That's what I would say about that. But lots to talk about. We're going to talk about a big injury crisis for Manchester United. Huge injury crisis. We'll talk about that first. Also, Ole talking about Cavani and whether he's going to leave in the summer. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's opinion on the Director of Football announcement. You can check that video out on the United Stand. I literally was doing it about an hour ago. Ole's given his reaction to the Director of Football appointment and what that will mean. All I'm going to say is I'm right, and anyone who was on who agreed with me is right because Ole's just confirmed it. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes' time as well. But let's start off because it is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's man. Darren, I'm just going to remove you from the vicinity because I don't need to read trolls. So yeah, let's get on with it. Injury crisis ahead of this game. It's a puzzler. It is a puzzler. So Pogba's out. We were led to believe at the start of February that Pogba would be back for the derby, still out. Donny van der Beek, who was on the bench for the Chelsea game nearly 2 weeks ago, is still out injured. What happened with Donny then? He was out for a week, then he was on the bench for Chelsea, now he's out for 2 weeks. So ultimately, Donny van der Beek's injury is a lot worse than we thought because 3 weeks is a significant injury now. Cavani came back, got injured again, still injured. Mata's still injured. De Gea's still obviously not injured, but he's on paternity leave. And Rashford is injured. So massive issues because that you need at least two of those players back to cushion the blow of, if Rashford's out but Cavani's back, if Pogba's still out but Van der Beek's back, but they're all out. And it makes tomorrow's game interesting because AC Milan have got injuries as well. So, I still think we'll win. I still do think we'll win. But my worry is that he mentioned that Rashford's, he says, Ollie always likes to be optimistic. And he said, look, I'm always an optimistic person, but I don't think Rashford's playing tomorrow. And I'd say he's a doubt for Sunday. Well, we need him for Sunday night, so don't play him tomorrow. Rashford should not play tomorrow. Don't play Rashford tomorrow. Please don't play Rashford tomorrow because you feel that you've got to. This has been Rashford's career, basically. In a nutshell, is that we use Rashford way too much and he should not be used in the game tomorrow carrying an injury just because other people are out. Rashford needs the rest. And what I would say is that if the game tomorrow is a draw, I still fancy us in Milan in a week. So I wouldn't be risking people. West Ham is a huge game on Sunday. If we lose to West Ham and they win their game in hand, they've got the same points as us. And Chelsea and Leicester are right close. So we don't want to get dragged down into a race for top four. West Ham's a big game on Sunday. I'd rather have Rashford back for that than risk him tomorrow night. But it does open up this story that if Cavani's... And I wouldn't risk Cavani either. Cavani out, Rashford out, Pogba out, Van der Beek out, Mata out, De Gea out. How do you build a front line? Well, it's got to be Martial, Greenwood and James to start. And it's got to be Diallo and Shoretire on the bench. That's what's got to happen. And the midfield has got to be McFred and Bruno. But you can rest Fred by playing Matic. So we can get a team out. We'll be absolutely fine. Dan James will start. Greenwood will start. Martial will start. And it's a good opportunity for Martial. So just don't play Greenwood. Don't play Rashford. Give him a rest. Do not play Rashford. He's clearly injured. And we know if he's playing, we're playing with an injury. So we'll see how it goes with that. But I certainly don't know what anybody else thinks. But I don't want him to be used in that game. Just on Cavani, very, very quickly. He did speak about Cavani. He was asked about these messages about Cavani and his dad. His dad saying that he wants to leave England and come back home. Cavani doing a post saying that he's happy in Manchester. Ollie, very honest answer was, look, at the end of the day, Cavani has got to make that decision himself. No decision has been made yet. His main focus is about getting fit. But it's his decision. But he knows that we like him here. So I think we're in the hands of Cavani there, aren't we? Thought we'd start to see Van der Beek in the Europa. It's a big shame, says Andrew. I'm gutted about Van der Beek. I'm gutted. I mean, it's just been a nightmare first year for Donny van der Beek, and you wonder if he can get back from that. But Cavani still injured, and Ollie basically saying no decision has been made yet. Basically saying United would like to keep him, but it's up to Cavani what he does. So we'll just have to wait and see about that one. Joe Harty says, finally we've made a director of football. I would advise you to watch the United Stand video about the director of football announcement. If you've not watched that, this is sort of like part 2-ish, because everything you need to know about it is in that. So Manchester United have appointed John Murtagh as director of football and Darren Fletcher as an analyst. However, I said on that video, I don't feel like this is I don't think this is news. I think this is just repackaging. I think it's the same thing in a new package. I feel that these people are already at the club, and they've basically just been given job titles that are different, and that there is no difference. And some people were like, "Oh, Galbraith, you've been so negative. Give him a chance, this, that, and the other." I said, "Well, I will give him a chance." And you can say that there has been progression at the club over the last couple of years. There definitely has been. But I didn't feel it was an appointment of a director of football. Well, if you don't want to trust my words, trust what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said in his press conference. He said, the process of recruitment will stay the same. Same manager, same scouting, same analyst. It won't change at all. We've worked with John for years, and that we are happy. It's a more formal role for John, but it's the same process. It's the same continuity, and we are still that work in progress. So, I said that. Ehab says there's some positive and negatives around the appointment. I just felt that it was just a repackaging, a rebranding. And yeah, they've been given more formal roles, like Ollie says, but nothing will change. It's the same conversations with the same people, with the same vision. It's continuity. It's the same DNA. It's the same process. And we're a work in progress. So this is not a Richter scale, doesn't even register. This is not a massive change. I think some people think we've appointed a director of football and everything's going to be different. And you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. Listen to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said in the press conference. Look at the history of the person who's been appointed. He's been at the club for years. This is just repackaging. It's no massive change. Ed Woodward's still in charge of the football club. Mr. Judge is still negotiating. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still manager. It's the same process, and that's from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So, I can't add anything more than that. If you want to talk more about it, check the director of football video out. It was very, very good. We did waste 2 questions again. Fergal says United sign Haaland. 2 questions in here about Erling Haaland. This is happening every week. Now, there are very good Norwegian journalists. Fredrik Fieldvet is one, and but they ask the same question every week. This is a Manchester United press conference. Manchester United press conference. There's a clue in the first 2 words. Manchester United. Why are we always asking Ollie a question every week about Haaland's goal scoring records for Norway or in the Champions League? Like, he's not a Man United player. He's a Norwegian player. And Ollie's a Norwegian manager. And I just think it's a waste of a question. There are so many questions that could be asked. And I don't mind it as a novelty question every now and again, but it's every week a question gets asked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, scoring record, and Haaland. And we've got people like Diallo. We've got people like Donny van der Beek. We've got people like Twan Sebi. They never get mentioned. There are so many good questions that could be asked of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that never get asked. Like Axel Twan Sebi. Played brilliantly in the Champions League. Played really well when you brought him on in midfield the other week. Not starting many games. What's the future for Axel? We never get asked that question. And there's millions of other questions like that. When will we give Greenwood a run at 9? Enough of using players in the wrong position, says Nathaniel. And we ain't got Haaland. Why are the journalists obsessed with him, says Advith. I think that's just the Norwegian connection, I suppose. But, I always thought Fletcher was going to be a coach. And that's what was reported, says Zed Jamie. Oh, of course, Darren Fletcher. He was asked about Darren Fletcher. Ollie said that we wanted Darren at the club for his history and DNA at the club. And he brings some new ideas as well because he has been coaching at other clubs. I didn't know that Darren Fletcher had done any other coaching. I know he was at Stoke in a role, but he's hardly got a wealth of experience anywhere else. His experience is the DNA that he's got at Manchester United. But obviously, Ollie is still very happy with him. And just to answer Zed Jamie was asked about that because Darren Fletcher has been one of our coaches and he's now going to be a technical director. So Ollie said, no, he'll still be doing coaching on the pitch, probably just a little bit less because he's got to do his technical job as well. So he's multitasking, basically. He's still going to be a coach, but he's also going to be an analyst. So he's multi-challenging. Shriddle, update on Van der Beek. So Van der Beek, De Gea, Donny is the same person. De Gea, Donny, Paul, Pogba, Edison, Cavani, Marcus Rashford, Juan Mata probably won't play tomorrow. All of them probably out. Very highly to be out unless he plays one of them injured. Because Cavani and Rashford, there's a slim chance, but they are basically a massive risk. So yeah, we've got a lot of injuries tomorrow, but we can still put a team out. You can still put a team out. The team will be Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Bailly, Maguire, Telles, Matic and McTominay, Bruno, James, Greenwood, Martial. So you can get a team out. No problems without anything. I don't know what Donny's injury is, Ishmael. No one knows what it is. Hannibal Mabry is back. He's back soon, Jack, but I don't know when. But Harry Maguire was asked some questions in this as well. He said it's important to win games and trophies. He was also asked about 4 clean sheets in a row. I'm going to try not to laugh I'm not going to quote this verbatim because I didn't write it down verbatim, but he said that the defence is definitely progressing throughout the year. We had a lot of clean sheets last season, and we're starting to get back to that. But collectively, as a back four, we're doing well. And if my left back's doing well, then I'm playing well. And that's what Harry Maguire said. That's what Harry Maguire said, or words to that effect. So if Luke Shaw's playing absolutely brilliantly, then so's Harry Maguire. I think what he meant is that, well, you interpret that how you like. I think what he's basically saying is that the back four is playing very well at the moment, and that if Luke Shaw's playing well, that means that Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof are playing well. Yeah, I think work that one out for yourselves. But basically, the defence is doing well. It's got 4 clean sheets. What happened to Romero, says Will Brown. I mean, Romero should have left last summer. There's been a bit of a fallout within the club. Romero feels he's been treated badly. A lot of the players agree that Romero's been treated badly and he's not been used. So he's running down his contract, taking 80 grand a week, screwing the club over. Basically, that's what's happening with Romero. There's no chance he would ever get used in goal. The club have been trying to get rid of him. He wanted to go in the summer. They didn't allow him. So now he's running his contract down. That's how I read it. So yeah. That's how I see it there. Joshua, not at all. Maguire is playing well at the moment. I just don't really understand that comment, so I can't really add anything on it. That's what he said. I've left it out there for people. So there you go. Don't be so bitter, Joshua. So also, Harry, good point. He said we can beat anyone. We've known that for a year. We can beat anybody, but it's the consistency to do it every week, and it is always that consistency that any Manchester United fan knows about. He was also asked whether he needs a rest because he plays a lot of football. He said, I'm feeling good physically and mentally at the moment. If I want a rest, I'll ask the manager, but I feel fine at the moment. So obviously we know Maguire will play tomorrow. Ishmael, if you want to talk about the director of football, there's a video about it. I don't want to keep going on about it because we spent 45 minutes talking about it an hour ago, and I've told you what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said about it. So we're just going to keep going around the houses. You need to establish the story yourself. I can't keep talking about it. Director of football, we've spoken about. Cavani, we've spoken about. 2 questions about Haaland's scoring record, we've spoken about. Injuries, we've spoken about. Somebody actually did say to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, AC Milan versus Manchester United, it feels like a Champions League tie, doesn't it? And Ole said, yes, it does. But it's great that AC Milan are on the build back now. They're in a title racing, and I suppose that links into us, and hopefully we can be like that. I don't like it being people saying it feels like a Champions League tie. If you want to make it feel like a Champions League tie, that's up to you. I can categorically tell you nothing will ever feel like a Champions League tie when it's kicking off at 5 to 6 on a Thursday evening. Doesn't feel like a Champions League tie at all to me. AC Milan have been massive underachievers for years. We've been like a yo-yo for years. This is where it belongs. Thursday afternoon, late evening at 5 to 6 on a Thursday. It's a Europa League tie. AC Milan are not the team they were, and neither are we. Hopefully both of us can get back to where we used to be. But no, I don't like the fact that we're playing AC Milan in the Europa League. I'd rather be playing Porto in the Champions League because that is the Champions League. So, But Ollie won't be happy about that. The players won't be happy about that. And we as the fans shouldn't be happy about that. I mean, some fans are happy about it. I don't know why. Some fans have allowed their expectations to be lowered. I don't know why. Some people think we've appointed a director of football. We haven't. We've just rebadged it. But I don't know why. Some people want to find the positive in everything. And that's great. That's a great personality to have. But the reality is, we should be in the Champions League next year, and if AC Milan are in there and we play them, then that's a Champions League tie. But this is a Europa League tie, and it is what it is. I'd much rather not be playing football on a Thursday night. Middlesbrough 8, Manchester City 1. Manchester is red, says Shadow Bullet. But I am looking forward to the game tomorrow for different reasons. I don't feel like it's a coming together of two European superpowers. I feel it's a coming together of two teams that could, hopefully, be on the rise back to being a European superpower. Ollie mentioned AC Milan second in the league in La Liga. Serie A, I don't know why I keep saying La Liga. Serie A, they'd be top of the league in La Liga. It's shit. Serie A, they're second. Manchester United are second. We're both formerly big clubs. Well, we're still big clubs, but I mean in a footballing sense. Two of the biggest clubs in the world, AC Milan, Manchester United, both second in their domestic leagues, both in the Europa League, both trying to get back to where they were. Big game in that sense, and I'm looking forward to it. There are parallels between us and AC Milan is what I'm trying to say. Gabriel Noel says, so my 80 million captain just says it takes other defenders playing well for him to play well. This is my freaking captain. Really, this is now the standard. I don't think Harry Maguire was saying that, Gabriel. I just don't really understand what he was saying. I think he was just basically saying that the defence is playing well and it's not about individuals. If the left back's playing well, that means I'm playing well. As a defensive unit, because I suppose what he means is if one person's playing well, we're all playing well. But I mean, again, I don't really understand what it's on about. I don't think he's talking about Luke Shaw scoring goals or anything like that. But he said it's not. I think what he's basically saying, it's about a defensive unit. It's not about individuals. And yeah, so if Luke Shaw's playing well, that generally means he's playing well, and Lindelof's playing well, and Wan-Bissaka's playing well. So there you go. AC Milan will not batter us, Darren. I'm more than happy to say that publicly, that Manchester United will beat AC Milan. Serie A is not where it's meant to be, and the Premier League is the number one league. I said Chelsea would beat Atletico Madrid. Manchester United will beat AC Milan. We'll have too much for them tomorrow. But it will be a challenge without Rashford and Cavani. But I expect Bruno to have a big game. There we go. Also, transfers this summer. Good question, this. Very, very good question. Probably the best question he was asked. So Tuna, thank you very much for that. Smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. The question was about transfers in the summer and the revenue streams being potentially dammed up. What impact does that have? And I think we saw a really interesting reply from Ollie. It was a great question as well. He said, everyone in world football is going to be impacted by the loss of revenue, but which will make for a very interesting window. Now, as I've said before, unfortunately, not everybody will be impacted by this transfer window. At least not the clubs we want to be. I don't really care about Southampton or Newcastle or Wolves or any other club that's below us. I only care about the clubs that we're trying to be. And I say that in the horriblest sense ever. I don't want to be Man City and I don't want to be Liverpool. I want to be Manchester United. But I mean in relation to footballing terms, I want to win the Premier League. I want to be challenging for the Champions League. So that's where we need to be. And we know Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea, to be fair, are in the Champions League and they're in top four. So I don't think Chelsea are going to be impacted. I don't think Man City are going to be impacted. And I don't think Liverpool are going to be impacted. I think they're all going to spend this summer. So when Ollie talks about everybody being impacted, it's the second time I've heard him say this in a couple of weeks now. I don't care. I don't even want you to keep saying it, Ollie, because it's not about those clubs. Because the minute you mention everybody, you throw yourself down to their level. We're trying to get to the level, and we know what that level is. It's first place. Man City are not going to be impacted. Chelsea are not going to be impacted. I don't think Liverpool will be impacted, but Chelsea and Man City definitely won't. They're two big targets for the title next year. If we allow ourselves to drop down to the level of the Southamptons of this world, who are very much impacted by COVID and revenues, then it's bye-bye Man City and Chelsea, because they're just going to get better. Somehow, we've got to find a way this summer of competing with Manchester City and Chelsea. And somehow, actually, to close a gap, you've got to have a better summer than them. So if they get Haaland, you need to get 4 players. because we're trying to close a gap, not maintain a gap, not further a gap. So we need to be competitive in this transfer market because our rivals, our main rivals, are going to be. We can't hide behind the world transfer markets because Manchester City and Chelsea are our rivals in our league, and if we don't go with them, we're going to fall further behind. And then it's not progress, it's P45 time. So he also said that, but we're always looking to add quality. And, you know, I think Solskjaer is great at always adding in that little bit. We're always looking to add in quality. And I think that's what really stands out. Romano saying that United are looking for a right back. I'll update you on that in a minute. How could we say the defence is playing well when clearly it isn't playing at the level of Man United? Do they even look at the badge on their chest? Vishal, the you know, to be fair to Harry, the defence is playing very well at the moment. It is playing well at the moment. It's got 4 clean sheets in a row. It's got 4 clean sheets in a row because it's got 2 CDMs as part of its back 4 as well. We're playing a back 6. So our defensive unit's very good. But it's the disparity between the defensive unit and the attacking unit and the lack of a midfield that's the problem. We've got to learn to defend as a back 4. That's what we need to do. And we can't keep clean sheets by doing that. So we play a back 6. So yeah, I think Solskjaer wants players. It's whether the club will deliver them and whether you've got a director of football. We could have a director of football, a sporting director, a football director, a sporting director of football, and whatever else you want to call it. You could have 5 of them. But if you haven't got the money coming down, they're just playing football manager. You know, then they can recommend as many good players as they want. If they haven't got the funds, it doesn't happen. And that's what this summer's all about. The club have got to release the funds. And if they don't do that, then we will struggle as a football club for a long, 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 long time. Unfortunately, that's what will happen. And we need to be eyes open to that. Doesn't matter if you've got the best director of football in the world or the worst director of football in the world. You've got to do it. So Manchester United want a right back. I mean, it's something that Fabrizio has been talking about for quite a while, to be fair. As we know, we've been linked to Max Aarons and Kieran Trippier. But yeah, I think that we will be in a situation whereby this summer transfer window will be interesting, and I do agree with that from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think it will be interesting, but interesting isn't always good. Interesting could be challenging. Interesting could be interesting in a good way. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But I'm not counting my chickens just yet because I think that all of this will come down to one thing, and that is, are Manchester United looking to be progressive in the transfer window? Are they looking to challenge the better teams in the league? Are they looking to challenge Manchester City specifically? And I hate saying that because I don't really want to be behind Manchester City. Nobody does, but that's the challenge. That's always going to be the challenge, and we already know that. Mark, how did the club pay 50 million for Fred? I cannot fathom it, says Ajmal. Well, it wasn't Ollie who paid 50 million for Fred, was it? Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. I just want to go through some of your questions. What's your opinion on Rangers? I've got no opinion on Rangers. Is rumours true to Sergio Roberto for 60 million true? Not heard of that, Prabat. We should sign the Juventus right back, says Robo. And Harry forgot to say Eric, Alex, Brandon play their part in the clean sheets, says Joe O'Connell. And we need a ball-playing CDM, says Dominic. Oh, yes, we do. But good update from a Milan fan here. Thank you very much. Matteo Milan 2021. Really thanks for this, because I've been trying to get some good AC Milan news for the preview yesterday. It was very hard to find out. It was all a bit speculative. I mean, I said in the preview that I thought Rebic and Kalinoglu were out with Zlatan. But he's saying that we've got some big injury players like Rebic, Kalinoglu, Hernandez, Rebic, Benaka as well. So they've got a lot of players out as well. Zlatan as well, Mandzukic, I think. So they've got quite a lot of injuries as well. So it's probably going to be a bit of a leveller, isn't it? Donny shouldn't start against AC Milan. He needs more confidence. Well, he's injured, Scott, so he can't. And do you think any deals can now be done with Juventus following their exit from the Champions League, says Rob Hatherley. Well, I haven't mentioned it, and I'll mention it now. I would love to bring Ronaldo home. I had people... The trouble is, I love football. I love your opinion as much as I love my opinion, because your opinion gets me thinking. It gets me passionate when somebody said on the Director of Football show, we finally appointed a Director of Football. And I was like, well, no, we haven't. We haven't appointed a Director of Football. We've moved somebody from a role they're already doing into an official role. It's the same. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's words, the process of recruitment is the same. The manager, the scouting, the analyst, it won't change at all. I've worked with John for years. It's consistency, it's continuity. It's just a formal role for John. So there is no appointment of a Director of Football. It's the same people doing the same job. But, you know, some people think we've appointed a Director of Football. Let them think it. They're probably dancing around in their pants. They're probably pissed by now. The news is 2 hours old. You know, they're going to have a horrible hangover when they realise. But my point is, everybody's got different opinions. That's what it's all about. But I think as Manchester United fans, we're all driven and united by the fact that we want United to be successful. And we all then get divided by, we all have different ideas of what's happening and what's good and what's bad. And then we're all very passionate about those different opinions. But it's funny because last night, the point I'm coming to is last night I was like, when Juventus got knocked out, and Doperman says selling Herrera was a huge mistake. He would be great help to Bruno. We never should have let Herrera go, no. But I said after the game when Juventus got knocked out, bring Ronaldo home. It's not working out at Juventus. He's not going to win a Champions League there. Do you want to retire in a league like that, or do you want to retire on top in the Premier League at Manchester United? And I had a lot of people replying to me going, you clearly didn't watch the game. He's dusted. He's finished. We don't want Ronaldo. And I'm like, oh my God. This is one of the world's greatest ever talents who's just had a bad game and suddenly we don't want him. Welcome to the world of football fans. I mean, it really is. But it's their opinion. Of course it is. But I would take Ronaldo over virtually any signing this summer. I put him that high. He's better than any striker we've got by a very long way. He's the best. He'd be the best player in our team by a long way. Yes, he's 36. Yes, there's a slight decline, but he's as fit as a 30-year-old. He would be brilliant for Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt. There's not hardly any circumstances I wouldn't take Ronaldo back. Do I think we'll do it? No. I do not think we'll do it. Do I think Ronaldo would do it? I think he could be persuaded to do it. I don't think he wants to stay at Juventus for another year. He may have to, but I don't think he wants to. I'd love him to come to Manchester United, but I can't see it happening, unfortunately. We could do that deal, by the way. We could easily do that deal by using Pogba, but, you know, I think a lot of people, myself included, are still hopeful that Pogba might change his mind, because if he goes, we'll never replace him anyway. But again, you get the same thing about Koundé as well. So many people today, I'm watching Jules Koundé. No way is he the right man for Manchester United. We need somebody who's going to, be more authoritative. Somebody who's not getting caught out of position. And I'm like, he's 22. He's 22. Like, by the time he's 24, he'll be better than he is at 22. And he's already very good, and he already ticks a lot of the boxes for what United need. But no, I've watched him play against Dortmund. He ain't good enough. Well, I'll tell you what, I've watched some of our centre-backs play week in, week out, and they're not good enough. So it's always about opinion. But I do like Koundé, and I would like Ronaldo. I'd be over the moon. Ronaldo, Koundé, and Basuma. I'll have some of that. Ronaldo's too slow for the counter-attack. Well, Cavani plays, so you've sat yourself down there. And we need a ball-playing CDM. Says Dominic. Dominic, your comment just keeps repeating it. I'm going to have to put you on a timeout. If Pogba leaves now, we've got to buy a box-to-box midfielder since Ollie never uses Donny. I don't know what the future is for Donny van der Beek, Xavier. I don't know. I'm going to stay live for a little bit and just answer some questions, actually. Please smash a like on the video if you want me to stay live for a little bit longer. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. So this John chap has just been given a new title. Mark, I was excited about the Director of Football info. Now you've just burst my bubble. Watch the Director of Football video. That's what I advise you to do. Watch my Director of Football reaction video and listen to what Ollie said as well. It's look, I'm not in any way am I saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a repackaging of what we're already doing. Now, some people believe that we are making progress under Ollie over the last 2 years. I'm one of those people. Have we made progress in recruitment? Come see, come saw. we massively overpaid for Harry Maguire. We massively overpaid for Wan-Bissaka. Dan James wasn't a bad signing. Bruno Fernandes was a good signing. But most of my issues with Manchester United's recruitment under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and beyond is not the identity of the player. I don't mind Harry Maguire coming to the club, Wan-Bissaka, Bruno Fernandes. I don't mind Telles, Van der Beek, all these players. But my problem with it is twofold. One, are they Ole's first choices? Well, there's very strong evidence to suggest that some of these players are not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice signings. So that's always a problem. The second point is, a lot of the issues with these signings are the negotiations. Harry Maguire was overpriced and took 6 weeks. Wan-Bissaka overpriced and took 6 weeks. Bruno Fernandes took all of January, when we should have had that done in the first week. We're in the middle of a bloody season. Jadon Sancho took all summer and we didn't do it, and desperately bought Cavani that no one else wanted to do. So it's the negotiations of which Mr. Murta, Mr. Fletcher, Mr. Solskjaer have got nothing to do with. In fact, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has taken an active role in recruitment by speaking to players during the process. He met Jude Bellingham at Carrington a year ago. He knows Erling Haaland. He apparently spoke to Jadon Sancho on the phone. None of those players came to Manchester United. Not because they spoke to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Those elements of the negotiations went very well, apparently. It fell down on the negotiations with the clubs and the fee. So, to me, you could argue that although Solskjaer's saying that Mr. Murta being the director of football makes no difference because it's the same process as the last 2 years, the same people involved, the same plans, the same structure, nothing's changing. It's nice that people are in identifiable roles, but nothing changes. Ultimately, I think our biggest failing at Manchester United is... I think a really good, experienced director of football would make a massive change to Manchester United. I'm never going to change that. And we haven't had that for the last few years, and we still haven't got that. We haven't got a top-class director of football, and we should have, because we're Manchester United. Man City have got one. Liverpool have got one. We should have one. But I can hope that our system works. But the big problem with our transfer over strategy is the negotiations. Every deal you look at, we wouldn't talk about Sancho if we didn't know we were in for Sancho, is what I'm trying to say. Bellingham, we knew we were in for him. He visited Carrington. Haaland, we knew we were in for him. Ollie flew to bloody Salzburg. So we know the players that we want most of the times, and then we don't get those players. And that must therefore be the issue with Manchester United's transfer structure. It may well not be the identity of the players. It's the transfer negotiations. Well, we know who does the transfer negotiations because he's just been given a new role, Director of Football Negotiations. So, as I say, Matt Judge, he's got to step up to the plate and start delivering. Ross Gunn says he was up against Haaland, was never going to be a good game for him. Hate players getting judged on one game. Exactly, and I think that I think he's a good player, Koundé. But there are other options. You don't have to like Koundé. It's all about your own opinion. I like Varane. I like Koulibaly. I like Koundé. They're my 3 top choices at this moment in time. If I have to go down to Division 2, I would take Pau Torres as a... But you're getting down to fourth and fifth options. This is the problem. You've got to get the first ones. Can you sign Lingard for Newcastle? My Newcastle career mode is up in an hour. I'll be live in an hour on Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. So yes, I will. And there is a show tonight at the normal time. Around 8 o'clock. Yes. I'm looking forward to that. If you're fine with buying Ronaldo, then why not Haaland, says Ronak. Totally different. Ronaldo's not managed by Mino Raiola. Ronaldo would come and finish his career at the club. Ronaldo wouldn't cost 100 million quid. So there's lots of reasons, really. But if we get Ronaldo, it's not all our transfer budget, is basically the thing. If we get Haaland, it's all our transfer budget. If you got Ronaldo, you'd still be getting a centre-back and hopefully a centre defensive midfielder. But if you get Haaland, God knows what we're going to do. God knows what we're going to do. Arsenal versus Olympiacos prediction. I think Arsenal will go through. I think all the English clubs will go through. And I presume that means... Oh no, it's not this Friday. We've got second leg next week. I thought the draw was on Friday. It can't be. CDM options. look, I'm going to be very realistic with the CDM options. I like Declan Rice. I don't think Declan Rice necessarily comes in and is the next Roy Keane. I'm not sure he's that good, but he's way better than anything we've got. So I put Declan Rice on there. I put Basuma on there because he's Premier League proven, and I think he's absolutely ready to go to a bigger club. And if we don't get him, I can see him going to Arsenal or Spurs and being a revelation. I mean, look at what Spurs did with the guy they got in from Southampton. Done a fantastic job. So yeah, I think that I don't know why I'm thinking Lovren. I've had a mind blank. I can even think of their midfielder, Winks, Sissoko, but he's done well. So I think Basuma's a good one. And look, if you fancied a tilt on Zakaria, I wouldn't mind. It's still a CDM. Even Samare from France. Do you think Lingard will come back to United in the summer and get sold or stay? If he does stay, what would his role be? Says Josh. I personally think this is Højbjerg. That's it. I personally think that Jesse Lingard has to decide his own future. I have seen what Manchester United do with players that maybe shouldn't be here, but save money by keeping them. Juan Mata should have gone 2 years ago. We gave him a 2-year contract. Matic got a 3-year contract, didn't he, last year, or a 2-year contract. Man United, and look, this all fits in. This all fits in with, to be honest with you, I didn't want to go down this path. God, you've sent me down a path I don't want to go down. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is saying that the recruitment process is still the same as it's always been, it's just repackaging, giving people formal titles. In the last 2 years under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we've kept Juan Mata, we've kept Matic, we've given a contract to Phil Jones, we've given a contract to Andreas Pereira. I mean, who's responsible for all that then? If it's the same people who are now being given official titles, apart from Darren Fletcher, what's changing? But what we do know about Manchester United within that mysterious transfer strategy that we have is that if they've got the choice between letting a player go and getting a bit of money for them and bringing a new player in, or keeping that player, they'll keep the player because it's easier to keep a player on the wages that they're on than let them go and have to go and recruit somebody else. So I think Man United will want to keep Lingard. I think Lingard has to say I'm off because Jesse will never be a first-team player for Man United. And if he is a first-team player for United, we'll never win a title because Jesse Lingard is not a title caliber player. He's a West Ham player. He's a player that can get you top four. I don't think he can take you to the title as a top player. He can sit on our bench and he can be a very useful bench player, but I don't know why Jesse would want to do that. He's the superstar at West Ham. You're not going to get that chance at Manchester United. You're not going to be that player because we need better than that. We need the Bruno Fernandes. We need the Paul Pogba. We need the Marcus Rashford. So Jesse could stay at United. And I'm not bothered if he stays, if he sits on the bench, but it's not good for him. And ultimately, we've got a player there that loads of people want. We've got 20 million there for Jesse Lingard, which we can use towards something else. So United should let him go. Jesse should want to go. Everybody should be happy and take 20 million that goes towards the transfer budget. But I think United will look to keep him, to be honest. But as Advith says, Lingard should go for his own career. That's what he should do. I'm loving what he's doing at West Ham. Reminds me of, like I said before, reminds me about when Phil Neville went to Everton. I always kept an eye on Everton and always wanted Phil Neville to do well. He was never going to be a starter for Man United. He could always be a squad player, but I was happy for him to go and be, one of Everton's best players for a few years. And I think that's what Lingard needs to do. He's 28. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. Really good videos today. We are going to be back later tonight as usual. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe. Thank you for all the questions. Subscribe bottom right hand corner, that corner. And check out the Director of Football video. If you haven't seen it, it's only an hour old. Check it out. It was very... I think watching the direct... I'm going to listen to it now. I've got to go on a bit of a walk, a bit of an errand. So I'm going to listen back to my Director of Football video because I think it's almost predictive of the facts. I said I didn't think this was much of a deal. And everyone's like, oh, stop it. And now Ollie's confirmed it. So I'm going to go back and... It's very well worth listening to that Director of Football video again. Now we know what we know. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all later. Take care.